Well, hence here again, your friendly local constitutional counsel from California. And the subject matter today is peace officers or law enforcement thugs. And we know what we have for the most part. And when you're talking about law enforcement thugs, I'm taking the position here that no ex-military applicants need to be hired. It's exactly the wrong combination because who knows what mind control they get blitzed with in Paris Island or the Army or the Navy or whoever knows what else. And they can't even tell the fucking difference between Kabul, Afghanistan and Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's the last thing we need. And you see what happens across the country. I mean, do we even have to say Jalen Walker here? Breonna Taylor? Or out here in California, we had a man arrested almost within eyesight of where I am for jaywalking, and he got tased to death by four law enforcement thugs, with whom I might have an interesting connection, by the way. Nobody even gets indicted for involuntary manslaughter. And the same with Jalen Walker in Akron, Ohio. And, they fired 48 shots in his back. And I'm willing to bet you 8 of those thugs, 5 or 6 of them were ex-military. And that's what has to stop. And indeed, with me, ex-military should come with an evidentiary presumption in favor of the victims. That's how bad it is. And especially when these law enforcement thugs rarely, if ever, have any injured party as a result of the actions that you did. And they certainly didn't in the case of Walker, no question about that. And it just goes across the board. And as you know, most of those victims, very conveniently, for the New York banksters, are black or sometimes Asian. And that's how they keep us all separated and not working together. And that's what we need to do more than anything. Once we do that, we're going to take these bastards down and get back to the original intent of those racist framers. Republican form of government of defined and limited powers. And that's going to be such an improvement. And no, Africans and Asians won't be our political equals at that point. There's a way to make that happen, a lawful way, and I'll deal with that on another video. But the big deal is everybody has creator endowed, inalienable, enforceable rights. And that takes away any need to have law enforcement thugs to start with. We need peace officers going back into the day. And that's what they had at the turn of the 20th century. Peace officers, you simply rarely ever had anything like this occur. And, that's a big improvement that we can get here. And I'm pretty sure that Trump knows this and that the justices on the U.S. Supreme Court know it. And when we start getting some appropriate cases there, and we're going to learn how to do that. Oh, by the way, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com for more information about this and other subjects. And you can pick up my constitutional defense document packets at a very modest price and use those for just about anything that you run into, whether it's foreclosures, evictions, traffic court, child support, you name it. They're all off the wall here, and no state courts have any jurisdiction, which you'll also learn. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com, and that's how bad it is. What you're really going to learn at the bottom line is there are no sovereign independent states which were admitted into this union. And that's why Trump can do what he does with these executive orders, like he did on the first day of January 20th when he was in office second term, and issued an executive order that appears to make it like he controls all of the people in the sovereign independent states, courtesy of federal regional martial law as commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That's not how it's worked here, and it's not how it should work here. We can fix it if we take action. And even better yet, when you get my materials, you'll be able to teach your children and your posterity and educate people. They don't get jack shit in the public education system about any of what I'm talking about. I didn't either all those decades ago back in the day. but I learn and I care and I can knock them out, you know, acapella expert command of 230 years of the Constitution, history, and laws of the United States. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And with notice, 24 hours notice, I'll be willing to take on any of these goddamn attorneys, backroad bastards, ink, you name it. They don't know the law or they don't care. You're going to find out I do. And I just have a divinely blessed gift with that. I don't know how that happened, but I do. By the way, you want to watch a movie called Beautiful Mind about John Nash, a mathematician in the 1950s, a different era. Uh, and it's a Ron Howard movie, and you watch that, you'll understand a lot of what's going on with me. And wouldn't you know, he and I, Nash, spent some time both growing up in Bluefield, West by gosh, Virginia. Different eras, mind you. Um, and I learned a lot when I was down there. I know it's also in Virginia. I had family in both states. And I grew up there as a kid growing up, and a lot of it rubbed off. And if I would have learned anything in the public education system, just outside of Washington, D.C., my life would have been different decades ago. But I've learned it now. I want to teach you. I want to help you to help your family and your posterity. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. You're going to love how good a job those racist framers did back in the day setting this government up. It wasn't perfect, but the best government we've ever had, and we want it back. We can go from there, make changes, and do it right this time. That's how exciting this is. So I've gotten away from my main topic here, which is law enforcement, versus peace officers. But that's all we have is law enforcement. All they want to do is arrest you, throw you in jail, make money, let the official actors make money off their Sesticade Trust. You're going to learn all about that too. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. I mean, this has got to stop. And we started going in there with the right questions and in the right forum. We get into a judicial court, game, set, and match. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do, even though there aren't any of those known to be in existence right now. We have the right to those and have had from day one. And that right to trial by jury and habeas corpus goes all the way back to Magna Carta, 12, 15, 800 years ago. Where the hell is that gone? You're going to get answers there too. So send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And we'll start to straighten out this business with law enforcement, thugs, and peace officers. And by the way, some of these ex-military can apply for government jobs, but not in a capacity where they're dealing with members of the public on the open streets and they have guns and we don't. That doesn't work. It's never going to work. It needs to stop now. Nothing hard about this. So send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. You're going to learn so much. I mean, it's astounding. It really is. And I've been blessed to be able to have done this. And we can get in there with our status and standing and make some real changes. And the U.S. Supreme Court knows this better than anybody, the current justices right now. And with younger ones coming on the court, and I'd like to see that process completed before the end of this term. We'll see how it plays out. But with younger ones on, they can then apologize because that court has been very complicit, in creating all this problem for the last 100 years. And these justices know that too. And once you start getting there with the right case, the right status, and the right issues, you're going to find out we have a right to be there, not a corporate fucking privilege. A right to be there. The Constitution says it, the justices know it, and we need to take action to do it. So send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. Subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. The sooner we start taking matters into our own hands and invoking our rights, the quicker we get these bastards off our backs. Thank you.